What's up, spooky people? It's time for another episode of the Spooky Corner. And today, we're going to be talking about some scary Japanese urban legends. Japan definitely holds the title for having the scariest and the best urban legends ever. I mean, there's so many good ones that I had to make a second video. This is part 2. And trust me when I tell you, this one is going to be bigger, badder, and bloodier than the last one. It's gonna be crazy. I mean, we got 5 crazy urban legends on this list that are scary as hell. You're not gonna wanna miss any one of them. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Let's kick this off with an urban legend called The Girl from the Gap. This urban legend says that there is a girl that haunts gaps. And I don't mean like the store, The Gap. I'm talking about like actual gaps, like the gaps in your home, like the gaps in your furniture or in between your furniture, or like the gap underneath your door, or kind of like when you leave a door slightly cracked open, those kind of gaps. And those are like everywhere in your home. Legend says that you may catch a glimpse of this girl staring out at you from one of these gaps in your home. And when she does and she scares the hell out of you, she will then ask you if you would like to play a game of hide and seek. But you'd probably be way too scared to even answer the question, but it doesn't even matter if you do or if you don't answer, because the game is officially on. She basically forces you to play. And this is not a friendly, fun game of hide and seek where it's like, oh, I found you, okay, now it's your turn. No, this is a lot different. How this works is, she'll ask you to play, and then she'll disappear. Then you can go on with the rest of your day, with the rest of your life. But if you happen to catch a glimpse of this girl staring out at you from the gap again, then the game is over, and you lose. But you don't just lose the game, you end up losing your life, because once you see the girl a second time, she then ends the game and drags you down to hell. That is a little extreme for a game of hide and seek, don't you think? Nobody knows who this girl is or why she's hiding in gaps, dragging people to hell, but this is definitely creepy. I thought I heard it all when I heard about the toilet ghost in Korea, but this definitely takes the cake as one of the weirdest. And it definitely makes me want to rearrange some furniture and stick a towel underneath my bedroom door. Moving on, what's worse than dealing with annoying pop-ups when you're just trying to search around on the internet, maybe buy some stuff and have some fun? Probably dealing with an annoying pop-up that also has the power to curse you. And that is what we're going to be talking about in our next urban legend called The Red Room. This legend talks about an evil red pop-up that not only doesn't go away after people try and click it off a bunch of times, but it also has the power to drive its victims insane and make them commit suicide. When talking about the Red Room curse or the Red Room pop-up, people usually tell this story about this kid who was addicted to the internet. All he wanted to do when he wasn't at school was sit his ass in front of the computer, play games, watch videos, probably watch porn, just enjoy all the greatness that the internet has to offer. Now one day while this boy was at school, his friend was telling him all about the Red Room pop-up and the dangers of coming across it. He told him all about the people going crazy and committing suicide, but it didn't scare this kid as much as it excited him, because he was obsessed with everything going on online, so he couldn't wait to get home, get in front of the computer, and see what was up. He couldn't wait to dig up anything he could on the Red Room. And that's exactly what he did, because as soon as school was over, he ran home, sat in front of the computer, and started typing away. And literally as soon as he started searching, this red window popped up on his screen. And in black letters it read, "Do you like?" What a coincidence. He X'd it out not thinking anything of it, but it came right back. Do you like? He X'd it out again, but it came right back. He X'd it out for a third time, but it came back yet again. Only this time, the pop-up was a little bit different. This time it read, "Do you like the Red Room?" And through his speakers, the kid could swear that he heard a little kid's voice read it aloud. Do you like the Red Room? Now he's definitely afraid, so he jumped back from his computer screen as his computer went black. As he's looking at the screen, a list of names pop up, and on the bottom of that list is the name of his friend, the same friend that told him about the red room earlier that day. As he's staring at the screen, the boy then felt a presence behind him and he went unconscious. The next day, the kid didn't show up for school, and word around school was that something very, very bad happened to him. The next day, he didn't show up for school again, but this time the news had already broke that the kid was found dead in his room with his blood all over the walls. Apparently, he smeared his own blood all over his walls before he committed suicide. Hey, you know what? He went looking. He went looking though, right? That should be a lesson. You get what you look for, you get what you ask for. So be careful. And they say that anybody that gets this pop-up will share the same fate as this boy and have their names added to the long list of victims. All I'm gonna say is, if you get this pop-up, you better not even click it off. Just smash your computer and throw it out. Now everybody knows the classic urban legend of Bloody Mary. Well, what you probably don't know is that Japan has their own version, and her name is Hanako-san. Hanako-san is said to be the spirit of a little girl who haunts the third stall in the third floor girls' bathrooms in schools around Japan. They say that she can be summoned by going up to the third floor girls' bathroom, going to the third stall, and knocking on it 3 times, and then saying, "Hanako-san, are you there?" Then, after a brief moment of silence, you should then hear a girl's voice come from inside the stall saying, "I am here." Now, after she answers, it's up to the person whether they want to run away or open the stall. If they run away, then they're good, nothing will happen to them. But if they're brave enough, if they're bold enough, then they can go inside the stall and see what's waiting for them. And there's a few different things that may be waiting inside the stall. The most popular belief is that if you walk in, you're gonna see a little girl standing in the stall wearing a red skirt with like a bobbed up hairdo. They also say that you can see a white hand or a bloody hand shoot from out of the stall to scare the shit out of you. But in both cases, it's just harmless. You're just gonna get scared, but nothing's gonna happen to you. And even some people say that Hanako-san might be in the bathroom as a spirit to protect the girls from evil spirits that also may be in the bathroom, which is nice because you really don't hear too much about urban legends helping people, so that is pretty cool. But obviously there's people who believe the exact opposite and say that Hanako is not there to just scare you or to help anybody, but to hurt people. And they say that if you knock on the stall 3 times and she answers, she will then grab you up, drag you down into the toilet, and take you to hell. What's even crazier is that some people say that it's not even a little girl in there, that it's actually a 3-headed lizard that waits in there and mimics the voice of a little girl to lure other girls in there so that it can eat them alive. Now, nobody really knows who Hanako was or how she died, but the most popular belief that I saw is that she was a little girl that was around during World War II, and she died when her school was bombed while she was playing hide and seek in the bathroom. Other beliefs are that she could be the spirit of a little girl who was killed in the bathroom, or she was a girl who went to the bathroom to commit suicide due to some relentless bullying. But basically, this is just like Bloody Mary. It's a challenge that girls give to other girls so they can see who's brave and see if Hanako-san is actually real. I love this. I thought this was badass because I love Bloody Mary and I would love to try this. Only thing is though, I don't think it's gonna be a good look for me to be walking up in girls' bathrooms, knocking on stalls. I think I would get grabbed up by the police before I get grabbed up by Hanako-san. This next one is for all the Ouija board lovers out there. This is basically the Japanese version of the Ouija board, and I'm talking about Kukuri-san. Kakuri-san is a game very much like the Ouija board here in America, but there are a few big differences. I mean, obviously the first one is if you're playing this in Japan and you don't speak Japanese, you won't be able to know what the hell the spirit is saying because they're going to be talking in Japanese. But other than that, there's a few other very interesting differences. One is, unlike the Ouija board here, where you can reach out and talk to like a dead relative, your dead grandma, all kinds of spirits, with Kakuri-san, you can only talk to one spirit and one spirit only. And that is the spirit of Kakuri, who is said to be a part dog, part raccoon, and part fox. And it's supposed to be like a trickster spirit. So it likes to crack jokes and have fun. And instead of using a planchette to put their hands on to allow the spirit to move it around, they actually use a 10-yen coin. Which brings me to my next difference. There's not even a board, it's not really a board, it's just a piece of paper. Which is good because, I mean, you could just make it yourself. I mean, I guess you could do that with a Ouija board too. But here, it's a lot different. Like, you know, they sell Ouija boards in stores. In Japan, they're like, no, fuck that. We're just gonna make it all ourselves. They don't sell no Kakuri-san boards. It's a nice, you know, do-it-yourself home project. All you need is a piece of paper, a red marker, and a 10-yen coin, and you're good to go. It's fun for the whole family. Now let's talk about how to actually play the game. You start by putting the 10-yen coin on top of the red tori, which is this little symbol that you're supposed to draw in between the yes and the no. This is basically the gateway for Kakuri-san to come through and enter and exit the game from. So once the coin is on the tori, then you ask if Kakuri-san is in the building.
Kokuri-san, Kokuri-san, どうぞおいでください。もしおいでになられましたら、はいへお進みください。
And if it is, it will move the coin over to yes, and you're ready to play. And you can ask all the questions you want. You know, when am I gonna die? Who has a crush on me? All the burning questions that you want the answers to that Kakuri-san can answer. Now, when you're finished playing and you're finished asking all the questions and everybody had their fun, then it's time to end the game. You can't just say goodbye and bounce like you can with the Ouija board when it's getting too scary. You know, you can just be like, oh, later, peace, and then you can go. No, not with this one. You have to ask Kakuri-san if it's ready to leave. And if it is, it'll move the 10-yen coin up to yes. If it's not, then you gotta keep on playing for a couple of minutes. Then if you ask again and it's ready to go, then it's ready to go. But you can't finish the game until Kakuri-san is ready to go and it says yes. When it's ready to say bye, it'll put the coin right back on the red tori and it'll go away. And you won't get possessed. You won't get cursed, unlike, you know, the crazy stuff you hear about the regular Ouija board. So that's great. This is supposed to be a lot safer than the Ouija board. Probably, like I said, because you're only talking to Kakuri-san and it's not gonna hurt you. But like I said, remember, this is like a trickster spirit. It does like to crack jokes and play games. So you never know if the answer it's giving you is actually factual. You don't know if it's telling the truth. It could just be messing with you. Or it could be your friends around you just being assholes. And last but not least, we got the craziest and the bloodiest on the list, the urban legend of Teke Teke. Kids in Japan are warned that they better make it home before the sun goes down, or else they just might run into the vengeful spirit of a woman who is missing the lower half of her body. They call her Teke Teke. And they call her that because that is the creepy ass sound that she makes as she moves her top half using only her hands and her elbows. She comes out every night dragging herself around with a scythe in one hand, ready to slice an innocent victim in half to make them look just like her. You're probably wondering how the hell she got this way. Well, story goes that she was a young woman when she was pushed or she accidentally fell on top of the train tracks right as the train was coming. And she didn't have enough time to get up before the train came by and sliced her right in half from the waist down. But that's just the half of it. Get it? Get it? That's just the half of it? Okay, anyway. That's not all. Because after the train cut her in half, she didn't die automatically. she actually laid there, writhing in pain, bleeding all over the place for a while, until she finally died. And then her angry, pissed off spirit came back to Earth. I don't know why the spirit couldn't come back with legs, but she came back to Earth pissed off so that she can cut people up and make them look just like her because she's salty. Now maybe you're saying, yeah, okay, if she were to roll up on me and try to cut me in half, then I would just run away. There's no way she could catch me by moving on her hands and her elbows. Or maybe you're saying, I'd just walk over, kick her in the face like fuck that, and then just walk off like a boss. Well, in both cases, you would not only be dead wrong, but you would actually be dead. Because they say Teke can move really fast on those hands and elbows, and she'll be making that creepy sound, Teke, right as she runs behind you, jumps up, and slices you dead in half. Take this classic story for example. Story goes that one night, this boy was coming home late from school. Maybe he was doing like an after-school program or something. And as he was making his way home, he noticed in one of the buildings this cute girl sitting at the window. He saw that she was sitting at the window with her arms on the windowsill. He was giving her the flirty face. She was giving it back. And as he was about to say something, as he was mustering up the courage to talk to the girl, all of a sudden, as she's looking at him, she leaps out of the window and lands on the ground. And the boy is in shock because now he sees that she is missing the bottom half of her body. And that is not what he was expecting. He's standing there frozen in fear. He finally comes to his senses, turns around, tries to run, but nah. Teke was right on his ass. She jumped up and cut him from the waist down, and she left his body right on the pavement for all to see. So if you happen to be walking down the dark streets of Japan and you hear a weird, creepy noise like Teke coming behind you, don't even look back, just run for your life. So those are all the Japanese urban legends I got for you today. I hope you liked them. Let me know 6 feet deep below in the comment section which one of these was your favorite and why. I mean, I'm having a hard time picking right now. If I had to pick, I guess I'm gonna say Teke because I mean it was the bloodiest, it was the craziest, but I love them all. Especially Hanako-san because it's like Bloody Mary. I don't know, man, I love them all. They were all great. And that is all the time I got today for the Spooky Corner. Make sure that if you liked the video, you actually give it a like. Make sure that if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. And of course, come back next time for some more spooky stuff.